Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Not going to be long. Look, you've heard me say this a million times. If you don't have at least two independent streams of income through which you hedge your primary source of income to protect you against catastrophic loss in that area, you are missing an opportunity to ensure your long-term financial security. I have created the 7-day online business launch course, which is a formula I use to reestablish myself online. It works over and over again. I've used it over and over again. Now I'm challenging you to take advantage of it. Click the link, learn more about it, enroll, and let's get started. Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is getting your week off to a great start. As you can see, this segment of Money Monday is brought to you by the Legacy Wealth Academy's 7-day online business launch course, one of my creations, one of the tools I've used for more than 13 years online to create revenue streams, something that we're going to actually talk about today. If you don't have two independent streams of income to hedge your primary source of income, you really need to take this course. Moving on, Money Monday, the importance of creating multiple streams of income. Look, Goldman Sachs has recently released a report or prediction saying that the rise of AI, generative AI, is going to eliminate 300 million jobs over the next couple of years. While it will replace many of those jobs, I know that by 2025, they're saying 85 million jobs will be eliminated, but replaced by 97 million that are in alignment with AI. While the average person will probably panic, evolution and growth eliminates things. We saw it in the industrial age, in the manufacturing age. We now know that there are literally at least 3 McDonald's unmanned. That's a scary thought for me, but it goes to show just how far we come. We have 18-wheelers driving themselves across the country now. Something you would have never thought, something I'm not happy about. But the reality is what used to feel safe will probably not be as safe and secure in the future. What is for certain is that if you can create an online presence, you can adapt with the evolution and the growth of tech, and you can learn how to use the growth, and you can also develop the ability to get in front of trends. That's where major money is made, when you can literally get in front of what the trend is going to be and be a leader in the trend, or maybe even the one who sets the trend and benefit from it, versus the ones who jump on the trend, and definitely not the ones who trail the trend. The thing is to be able to develop that. And if you don't, I believe it was Alvin Tolston, if I'm not mistaken. And I know I'm not saying it right. I'm using the wrong name, but he, and then it'll come to me after I get off here. But he said at the beginning of the new millennium, he said that in the new millennium, the term illiterate or literate would change. Literacy would no longer be about reading, writing, and arithmetic. It would be about the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn in real time. And we have rapidly approached this. We are looking at things that there were things and systems that worked for years and years and years, even decades. It's just this is the way we do it. That's how it's done. And so you get into your groove, you become an expert in it, and you can ride that out. Now What worked 3 years ago is probably not working as effectively as it did 3 years ago. And so, what is it that we're going to do? We have to get out in front of it and creating an online, multiple online. I've been doing this thing online for almost 15 years. And it came because the old way I was doing things was very, very lucrative, but it came tumbling down. And rather than go back in and build it the old way, I decided that I was going to use technology and the reach of the internet. Now, this is a new place for me. I had a couple of websites built for me, but I didn't, I hadn't explored what it meant to be online and literally generating a space online, branding online, all of the things that are part of this process. But I knew that it was the future. I could just see the growth. And the thing that stuck out to me the most when I did this was the ability to reach people beyond what you could normally do. Even if you had radio ads and television ads, they were normally going to be local or regional. Uh, Very few small businesses can afford national advertising. Very few small businesses are even able to deliver on a national basis in the old system. In the new system, it's entirely different things. You can now market. A lot of the times you can do it organically, and that means you're just creating content that people find relevant, and they're coming to it. And through that content, they're finding out about who you are, what you have to offer, and they are patronizing you. And that organic traffic is one of the things that you are rarely going to get in brick and mortar. Yeah, somebody might drive by and say, "What's that?" based on the signage and all of that. But there's so much of a startup cost just to create a brick and mortar presence that only a few people are going to drive by, relatively speaking, to the hundreds of millions that have access to what you can create when you do it right. There are people on YouTube that are presenting something that people find interesting. Whether I think it's of intrinsic value or not is irrelevant. They found something they're passionate about and they're presenting it, and they've got hundreds. There's a couple of 100 million viewers. Can you imagine what kind of revenue that's generating just from the profit sharing part of the advertising revenue they share with YouTube, not to mention all of the paraphernalia and everything else they can sell from their site based off of the following that they've created, not to mention the sponsorships that they can create. And the thing is, when you master a space, you establish yourself in that space and people will recognize you. It all depends on what you're passionate about, what you want to do. Me, I started out with writing. It was the easiest way to get started. It wasn't where I wanted to go. I wanted to go where I'm headed now. And that's in the area of personal developing, helping people change their lives. But I needed to have more footing. So I've been writing all my life. So I decided to do that professionally. All along while I'm writing books, I'm also writing articles and ghost writing books and a bunch of other things professionally. I've written entire web content for different companies, their entire website. I procure the content. One of my businesses, Myriad Business Solutions, still does that. So the thing is, the system I used to come on and create this is a real simple business philosophy, low cost entry. I'm not looking to stack a whole bunch of business capital to launch something. I want to get in at the lowest entry position, which is going to be the lowest cost to enter, and then build and scale from there, using the organic growth of the company to facilitate the growth. Now, there's bottlenecking with that. There's some things that can happen. You're going to go through growing pains, but you get to get in the game versus sitting around wondering, how can I get started? There's so many people sitting on the sidelines because they believe they've got to have $100,000, even $50,000. They believe they got to have all this money to start their business. And so they're sitting around looking for ways to raise funds, looking for this, and they're getting turned down here, or they don't have a sense or understanding of how to get started or where to go to find that capital. And so they're sitting on their vision, they're sitting on their dream. Whereas you can come on the internet and literally start a business in under $1,000. You can start a business for free. Once you learn this, there's a way. Once you learn this, you can literally launch for free. Um, and while I wouldn't do it anymore, I have. And why I say free is free. There are certain things you're going to do where you don't get complete branding and you don't have the polished professional look. There are sites that you can build for free and you don't have to pay for to register a domain, but you're going to have a suffix behind your domain name. It's going to be Wix, your domain .wix.com, .weebly.com, .blogspot.com, whatever, but you can still do it, free. So all of this stuff you learn. Now you want to polish it. So pay the $9 to $15. And if you go to Namecheap, you can get some of these domains for as little as 99 cents. But you get the domain, you register the domain. Normally the registrations are 1 year to 2 years. You register the domain, you get hosting for it. That's going to cost you probably about $30 a month for hosting, and you get that set up. But it's all of these other processes that you go through. The beautiful thing about it is that you don't have to have a product or service yourself. So in other words, the person said, well, I don't know what I want to sell. I don't know what I want to do. I haven't figured out who I am yet. You still need to have multiple streams of income to hedge. And AI is just one influential, impactful thing that's going to happen over the next several years that is going to create. You're also going to have some global economic volatility. And while most people are going to panic, this is a time to actually make moves, but you're going to have to be willing to get out there. The beautiful thing about this is these investments in yourself aren't huge, relatively speaking, based on what you can get in return. And that's about investing. That's what it is. Based on what I'm going to put into this, what am I getting in return? And I talk a lot about it on Wealth Building Wednesday because it's one of the 4 main principles that the wealthy elite, the ultra, use in investing, and it's asymmetric risk reward. Being able to find the things that you can invest a little in and get a greater return in. This is one of those things, because if you do this thing right, it's going to pay you back a minimum of double every month what you invested in it. So literally the first month, you're going to earn back 100% on it. And then every month after that, a minimum of 200% if you put in the work. I mean, it's out there. It's simply out there. Can I guarantee? You guarantee what you're going to get. But what I'm telling you, if you get down, you sit down, you put in the work, count on $1,000 a month. If you really go hard in the paint, you can count on $1,000 a week. Is that major, Luke? Nope, but it's more than the median household income for the average Black family or the average Black individual. So what am I trying to say? I don't care how well you're paid. If you don't own that job or that business, you don't control it. You may be the most loved and endeared person at the company, but if the company goes under, it doesn't matter how much they care about you. They can't pay you. Or things may become turbulent and you need to leave, or you're forced to leave. That income is gone. Something to look for down the line. At some point, you're going to want to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to retire. Or there's forced retirement in a lot of jobs. That job isn't passed down to your progeny, your offspring. It's not a part of your projection of your wealth or your net worth, because that job goes to somebody else who they hire or they promote. And so again, it's an opportunity lost to help enrich your family and the people around you. So then what is the alternative? The alternative is that even though I love my job, it can't be my only source of income. I need to create other streams of income. Passive income can come through things like real estate, which I suggest everybody find a way to get into. If you can't get into it as an individual, create a conglomerate, get with a number of people, put your resources together and start purchasing property, not just homes, not just commercial real estate, property. Um, it's going to always have value. Another thing is obviously invest in companies. You probably don't have the money to invest in companies by way of being a venture capitalist, but you can always invest in companies by buying stock in companies that perform well. Hold that stock. Don't get into that day trading stuff. Don't get into active trading. Buy companies that perform. Learn how to read financials, learn how to read historical performances, learn what companies have done over time, and know what companies are simply going to withstand whatever's going to happen in the coming years. And that will be there for you, and invest and hold. When stocks go down because the market is taking a hit, buy more. Ray Dalio has gone on record as saying is the stock market is the only place where people panic when things go on sale. That's all that's happening, and that's what crisis investors wait on. Crisis investors, they wait on something to happen to drive the value of stocks down. They know the companies that are going to perform, the companies that are going to recover, and they buy the stocks for penny on the dollar and hold, and then eventually the market turns. It always does. The market is a consistent switch between correction on the way up, correction on the way down. And it balances itself out that way. And it has done that for decades upon decades upon decades, for over a century. And so what we need to understand is we can sit up and say, I'm going to buy something and I have a piece of a company. And that's what Warren Buffett said. He's like, I don't buy I buy stock, but I don't buy stock. I don't see stock as stock. So when I buy it, I'm not worrying about whether the value goes up and down. I bought the company. I'm looking at whether I believe the company is going to perform long term. And that's what you do. Look at the company. And if there's a reason to believe the company can perform, stick with the company, buy the company, hold. Because even when the stocks start to drop, the price in the stock starts to drop, the value in the stock starts to drop, you haven't experienced a loss. If you buy something at $50 a share, and then it goes up to $80 a share, then all of a sudden it drops down to $30 a share, and you're going, man, I've lost $20. No, you haven't lost it yet. You don't lose that $20 a share until you transact out or you sell. Once you sell, you realize the loss. And so as long as you're holding, you have a chance to recover. Now, can you get to a point where you lose everything? Yes, that can happen to anybody. That's why you do your research. That's why you learn. And obviously, trying to predict the market on a daily basis, trying to predict what stocks are going to go up, trying to predict what products are going to go up is not how you win. How you win is learning how to judge companies over the long haul. And that's why the index is so powerful, especially the S&P. It just constantly kicks. Plus, it pays compounded interest. But the thing is, with the internet, it is massive reach. I mean, even in some of the poorest countries, people have phone and internet. In countries like ours, 3- and 5-year-olds have phones, and almost everybody who is housed has internet. There's even the government's affordable internet thing where to ensure kids have internet so that they can complete their schoolwork and stuff. So, I mean, if you've got an internet connection and you've got a phone, a laptop and a tablet is a plus, a desktop is like gold, but with a phone, you can do this. You can create it. You can make it happen. Some people are so good on the phone that they prefer a phone. It's a lot more difficult to do on the phone. I don't use my phone a lot for business outside of making phone calls and a couple of posts here or doing videos when I'm on the move and stuff like that. But all the other stuff to do, I like a larger screen. I'm already going blind. I don't need to expedite it. But I want to encourage you to understand the importance and grasp the importance of building multiple streams of income. And the internet allows you to do it in the most cost effective way with the most reach. There's a reason why even the heavy hitters in business have changed their marketing model. They flipped it upside down. It used to be heavy in television media, radio media, and print media. In that order, now it's social media, and then television media and radio media, print media. All that stuff is probably now online because that's where 85% of the searches on first purchases are done online, which makes the ability to understand search engine optimization huge because that's where your organic traffic is going to come from. But even when you have to pay for traffic, it's a lot less expensive than trying to get spots on the radio and the television, period. So again, I cannot stress enough the importance of having multiple streams of income. You've heard me say this an infinite number of times. It seems that if you don't have at least two streams of income that you control, that nobody can fire you from, that you can work with, and you know every day if I wake up and work, I'm producing something. It may not come in droves. It may not happen the same way every day, but what I'm putting out will come back. That's what I can tell you from my own experiences, is that there have been some unbelievably remarkable days. There have been some slow times. There have been some times where it's been lean. But what I know is when I wake up and I put in the work, even if it doesn't come in tomorrow, it comes in next week. If it doesn't come in next week, it comes in the week after. And that when I consistently put in the work, I can see the results. The biggest thing is nobody can take it from me. Nobody can come up and go, you can't do this anymore. Nobody can come up and say what, because there's so many different ways to go out there and do it. And as long as I remain within the guidelines of the places and the things that I do it, I don't have problems. But nobody's going to fire me because it's mine. Nobody's going to, every day I wake up and I go to work because it's mine, because it's my passion, it's because of what I love. And I'm trying to help as many people as I can do it. In the description box is a link to the 7-day online business lunch course. This is an online course, which kind of validates itself. It's me doing something online to help you. It's an online course, step by step, on setting yourself up and getting started. And the more you do this, the more effective and efficient you go. I say once you take this course, you'll be able to set up a business in 7 days. I can do it in a half a day. I've done it as quickly as an hour. Now, obviously, it depends on what you're doing and how long of a run. If it's something like, I didn't do this, but it's just the first thing that came to mind. When that pandemic kicked off, there were some people, man, making all kind of masks. I created a space for someone I knew who was doing it in an hour for them to sell their masks. And for a while it was lucrative, and I already looked at it. It wasn't something that I wanted to get into, but I looked at it. I'm like, hey, for a minute, you're gonna be able to do this, but it's not going to have long, because eventually it's going to balance out and people are going to come back and we're going to be looking at it. It's going to be a thing of the past. And so it is what it is now. They're still mad. Now you can go anywhere in the store and find masks and they're just sitting in it and whatever. But it was hot for a minute. You can jump trends like that if you want to. If that's the kind of thing you want to do, man, that's hot. I'm going to sell t-shirts about that. Man, you can create it online. Do it. And there are just certain things that'll go viral. People will jump on. And if that's your move, that's your move. Or if you want to create something more stable and sturdy, you can jump on that as well. But the bottom line is, the more you hedge your primary source of income with multiple streams of income, the less impact something negative will have on you as it pertains to your income. If all you have is your primary source of income, I don't care how much it is. I don't care how much you love the job. If something happens and you don't have multiple streams of income, say, man, I'll be good until I get this figured out. then that's a problem. So that's my thing for Money Monday. The link is in the description box. I think it's a wonderful course. It's exactly the formula that I've used. And obviously, it's evolved over time as new technology has come out, as new tools have arisen. It's so much easier to do it now than when I first did it. But I did it without all the tools that you're going to have at your disposal. So you definitely can do it. So I'm encouraging you to make that move. Look in the description box, click the link, and make it happen. On that note, look, I'm out of here. It has been great to share with you this morning. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, which is Transformational Tuesday. I've got something special for you on tomorrow. But what we need to do is start preparing ourselves to move into this new world of technology and seize the moment and make a move. That's my challenge. So on that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day.